Hey everyone, welcome to AC Everything. My name is Squid, and today, don't worry, we will not be talking about the Nintendo Switch. Today we're going to be talking about something pretty impactful, pretty crazy that just got revealed earlier today. And if you're a big fan of Parks and Recreation or any other documentary drama show, then you're going to love this news. Now, it is being rumored, or at this point it's being put out as very likely that The Office will be renewed for a 10th season. The Office has not been shown or has not been worked on since 2012 when it ended with the wedding of Angela Martin and Dwight Schrute in the season 9 finale and series finale. However, it's being rumored now. It's been rumored for quite a while, but now it's pretty certain at this point there will be a season 10 in 2018 or 2019. And it's rumored that they're going to go after some of the old cast to have them return for Season 10. Now, if you haven't already heard, Steve Carell has already said he's not going to be involved with Season 10, which, to be honest, as bad as this might sound, I could care less. And I would be surprised to find out that Office fans even cared at this point. Now, I don't mean to say that he's not important to the show, because he was. I imagine the ratings probably fell after he left in Season 7. The problem is, he had already been written out of the show for the last 2 seasons, so I don't think he's a very important character at this point anyway, and I don't even see how they'd possibly be able to write him back into the show anyway, considering he got married, had kids, and moved out to Colorado, and he's not even involved with Dunder Mifflin anymore. It wouldn't really make a lot of sense to me why they would even use his character anyway. So why they even announced that is beyond me, because I don't think anyone cares at this point. As much as I love Steve Carell, he's not really that critical to the show anymore, and he wasn't even for a couple years after he left. Now, for 2 characters that I think are an absolute certainty that definitely will return is Dwight Schrute and Angela Martin. I do think that Rainn Wilson and Angela Kinsey would be interested in coming back, considering neither of them have much going on. Rainn Wilson does have a movie coming out soon. It's called Permanent, actually. It comes out this month, if I'm not mistaken. And Angela Kinsey has done a little work for Netflix on the show called Haters Back Off, which is a terrible show anyway, to be honest. But nonetheless, I do believe that they probably would make themselves available for this project. Now, some of the characters I don't believe are going to return. I don't believe Jim and Pam are going to return, as they had also been written off the show in the end as well. And John Krasinski is very active in film right now. He's got a lot going on. He's had a lot of movies come out over the past couple of years. As Jenna Fisher isn't all that busy, I still don't think that there's going to be much of a revival for her character either. Now, you never know. They may make an effort to bring these characters back, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Creed Bratton, I think, could come back, but he was also sort of written off the show in that he got arrested and taken to jail. I think he was caught drug trafficking or something like that. So he had been written off as well in the finale. Mindy Kaling and BJ Novak could definitely potentially come back. They're kind of pointless characters, but nonetheless, if you're into those 2 characters, they could be written back into the show, and I don't think it'd be very difficult. Although they did run away together, again, I don't think it'd be very difficult to bring them back. Toby Flenderson, I think he's gone, as he did he got fired by Dwight in the season 9 finale, I believe, as well as Kevin also got fired. However, I do believe Kevin will be back. Brian Baumgartner, I think he will be back for season 10, because he's not a very active person right now. And also, Brian Baumgartner, if you remember, while he was fired, Dwight was shown as regretting that decision and even missing him. So I definitely think he will be back in season 10. I'd be very surprised to find out that he wasn't. I also think Phyllis could come back. While she's been somewhat active since the show ended, I think she'd definitely make herself available for a season 10 revival. I think that can happen. Stanley is gone. I don't think that they're going to bring him back either, as he retired, moved to Florida, and he was pretty happy with his life in retirement. I don't think he's coming back. Ellie Kemper as Erin Hannon. I think she could come back, but honestly, I don't care if she comes back anyway, because, I don't know about you, but I kind of found her character insufferable and really hard to get invested in. They tried to get us invested in her character with the whole storyline of her parents, but there wasn't enough detail on the background story of her for me to really get invested in it, and there wasn't a lot of evolution of her character either. One character I want to see come back, because I think they ruined him. And I don't know if it's possible, but I think it's more possible than some characters, but it might not be entirely possible, but I hope they do it. I want to see Ed Helms come back as Andy Bernard, Nard Dog. I want to see him come back, one of the coolest characters in the show, and he kind of lost his personality in the last season and a half, and they kind of ruined him, to be honest. He got so focused on sailing and finding himself and stuff like that, and being ridiculous pretty much, that he basically lost his entire personality as manager. And I think they kind of ruined his character, which is sad, because he's actually a really funny guy and one of the cool characters on this show. So I hope they bring him back and maybe fix up his reputation as a character he was. Will they? I don't know, but I hope they do. Two characters that could also come back, and this wouldn't be very difficult in my opinion, as neither of them have very much going on, and they were two pretty good, stable characters, and they weren't written off either. And that is Plop, of course that's Pete, and Clark, or Dwight Jr. I think both those characters could be brought back pretty easily, and I think they'd kind of add a little bit of fire to a cast that's going to be lacking if they can't get some of these main characters to return. I think the show can survive without Jim and Pam. I think it can survive even without Stanley easily. I think it can definitely survive without a lot of these characters. Meredith would be pretty easy to bring back as well, considering she doesn't have much going on, and she was not a very big character, but nonetheless, the comedy that came with her character is definitely something that they could use, considering the situation they're going to be in, trying to get us to get invested in some of the new characters that will surely come along to replace some of the old ones, because there's no way they're going to get all these characters to come back. Daryl, I don't know if he's going to be able to come back. I'm honestly not worried about it, but it could potentially happen. But the whole thing is, he also moved away as well and got invested in Athlete, and I don't really see why he would come back either. So once again, that's one that's just not going to happen. Nellie Bertram. I'm hoping they bring back Nellie Bertram, but she also moved to England in the last season. So once again, I don't know if they're going to be able to get her to come back either. I don't think that the actress that plays her has a very busy schedule, but having the character have been written off could be fairly difficult to get her to come back, because you have to find a way to write her back into the storyline. But I'm sure they could find a way. So, there's a lot of good news, a lot of bad news with this whole situation. And right now we're kind of in the dark about what's going on and where things are going. Hopefully they can figure out where everything's going, and hopefully they can write back in some of these main characters that need to be written back. Now, Greg Daniels, one of the original creators of The Office, is already being attached to this project for Season 10, which is good. Hopefully Ricky Gervais comes back to help out as well, because he was part of the original Office show in the UK, and he really helped out this show as it formed in the US of A. So hopefully everything works out. I think if they can get Angela and Rainn Wilson to return, I think those two characters, along with Brian Baumgartner, Clark and Plop, and maybe Meredith, and I think those characters could hold it down while these new characters try to acclimate and get and kind of attract our attention. One character that I think may come back, but may not, because he was also running for Senate and was becoming a senator, I think Oscar Martinez could come back. If not in a main character role in The Office, maybe potentially, I don't know, as a background role or so. I don't know. I don't remember seeing him actually win that election. So maybe you could make the argument that he lost the election, and he stayed put. So that's another potential character that could return. But I think your base characters that I absolutely think will return and can easily return and need to return are Angela and Rainn Wilson. They definitely need to come back. Those are two characters that we were like forefront characters that we got invested in and could probably easily be brought back. I don't think Jim and Pam are coming back. I think Kevin can definitely come back. Brian Baumgartner, I think that's easily achievable. Clark and Plop, or Pete, those two can easily be brought back as well. Potentially Ed Helms, definitely, the potential is definitely there. As he's not got he makes movies here and there, but he's not got a crazy busy schedule. And he was working for Cornell, so he could potentially come back as a salesman. You never know. I think he could potentially come back, definitely. I think that that's an available option, that if they get that option, use Ed Helms, write him back into the show. He's a good character that could also hold it down as well. Oscar Martinez could come back. Maybe Meredith. She doesn't matter that much, but if she could come back, that would help as well. So you have at least 5 or 6 characters that could easily be brought back and written into the story and could hold it down while the new cast tries to acclimate and get some attention with The Office's old viewership, while also bringing in some new viewership for The Office. I mean, this was a hit show. They have the potential there. If they can get the writers on board and if they can get some of these actors on board, they're going to have a lot of success in reviving one of the coolest shows, honestly, in my opinion, in television history. Definitely one of the coolest shows in NBC history. I definitely think they have the potential to do this if they execute it right, get the right actors on board, get the right writers on board, and they should be just fine. And I think they could pitch a really good season 10 for The Office. Where it goes from there, I don't know. It can be very difficult to revive a show that's been gone this long. Well, hell. I mean, just look at how hard it's been to a lot of people like Fuller House. I don't like it. I mean, I guess it's up to every individual person on their different opinions. But I think potentially with the possible actresses and actors that you can bring back, along with already having one of the solid writers and directors and creators from the original series back on board already, if you get Ricky Gervais and maybe Rainn Wilson and Angela Kinsey, I think you have a solid frame right there. And maybe bring back Brian Baumgartner, Plop and Clark, maybe Ellie Kemper. I think that's a solid form right there. I'm not a big fan of Ellie Kemper, but a lot of people like Aaron's character. So if you could get those people right there, I think you have a solid frame. Get Phyllis as well, maybe Ed Helms, and those are just 2 possible. I think the show could live without them, but it would be very beneficial if they did get those 2 characters back into The Office. And those guys could hold it down while the newer cast tries to get our attention. So that's my opinion. I'm looking forward to Season 10 coming. I'm going to update you on any news that does come up with this, and I'll let you know what happens. If we do see any old cast members sign on or give any hint that they will, I will definitely drop it on a video and let you know. One cool thing that we got coming up, like I said, we have a Superhero Crate unboxing coming up. I believe it ships out on Friday, so we will have that unboxing probably next week, and it will be a great video for you, give you a chance to look into a really cool subscription box. I've actually been investing in a subscription box with my fiance for about the past year. It's called Universal Yums. So if you haven't subscribed to any boxes, maybe go to Loot Crate. That's probably the most famous one I can think of, and I'll give you a look at Superhero Crate next week. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and thank you for joining us today. See Everything. My name is Squid. Subscribe, like, comment, do it all. Contact us on our social media. That'll be in the comments below, or the description below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great rest of your day.